Is it okay? Can we start now? Good afternoon, friends. Thank you for coming to this press briefing. It is regarding certain developments you must have seen on newspaper or otherwise, since you are all from media, you know it. There has been some disconcerting development in the state regarding the census process. People have been demanding that the census process in Manipur should be deferred. In fact, across party line, across communities, and civil society groups, many people have been demanding this for months. If you recollect, I have raised this issue on the floor of the House in March of this year, and I had also then written to the Union Home Minister requesting him to defer the census process. But unfortunately, the government has gone ahead with this, and there are a lot of dissatisfaction among people, and in fact there was 2 days shutdown in the state till yesterday, and hesitation all around, which is certainly avoidable had the government been a little considerate and realized the situation there. They should have deferred the census process. There are reasons why why we have been demanding the deferment of census in the state. I'll just give you some of the concrete examples of that. The first one is, you know that the law and order situation in the state hasn't changed. There are thousands of people still homeless, 60,000 roughly, and majority of them are still languishing in relief camps. And more than 10,000 houses were destroyed. And villages have been wiped out during this crisis. That started in 3rd May 2023. That sphere of that conflict has now spread to hitherto untouched districts like Ukhrul, Kamjong, None district, Tamenglong, Senapati, and so on. Because there's a conflict has also engulfed more communities now in our these areas that I've just mentioned. So the law and order situation is still bad. People have not been able to go back to their homes. In fact, strange that it seems unconstitutional and illegal manner, the government is dividing people and then stopping them from entering to each other areas and so on. And it was just unthinkable, and I have been saying this. Like if you go to Rwanda and you separate the warring groups, the Hutus and Tutsis, that's fine. But India, you can't afford to do that because you are there to enforce the constitutions, thereby meaning that people should have access to hospitals, airports, highways, and their homes. You can't stop them because you can't say that, this hospital is in so-and-so communities area, you can't go there. Airport is in XY community, so therefore the Z community can't go there. You can't do that in India. But unfortunately, strange that it seems the government has been doing that for the last 3 years. And as I've just said it, that more than 10,000 houses were destroyed and villages have been wiped out during this crisis, and you are trying to do a house listing operation. How is it possible? And in this kind of a law and order situation where the armed people are going around, till yesterday also you must have heard, houses are being burned down, people have been killed, this new sphere of conflict and violence have started since February this year, and it is still continuing. You have heard about 6 Liangmai men who were abducted and slaughtered, and they were cut into pieces, and those pieces are still there in the morgue, and people have been traumatized by this. So the lawlessness is still prevailing, and houses have been destroyed and villages wiped out, and you start a census process. Why? Can you get an accurate, mapping of the houses and population in this kind of a situations? We have instances before us. We are not asking for the census to stop. We are asking for deferment of census. And this is not the first time that we have experienced such thing. In 1981, it was not conducted in Assam. It was not conducted in 1991, depending on the law and order situation. And even during the COVID, it was, we know that we deferred in 2021. So given this Manipur situations, how is that, Government of India has decided to go ahead to do with this census process and this house listing operation that they've begun it? I'm repeating again, this is, we have to repeat this again and again. You are doing house listing operation, the villages have been completely wiped out and flattened. There are no houses. Thousands of people who were residing in those villages are in relief camp now, and you are doing house numbering and listing exercise. How is it possible? That's an inflicting injustice and humiliation on these people who are already have suffered enough in these 3 years. So that is the very irrational way in which the government has gone ahead to do this exercise of census, despite the fact that across party lines, across civil society groups and communities, people have demanded that this census should be deferred. Why is it the Government of India is going ahead with that? The other concern is also that we have this unresolved census issues since 2001 and 2011 census. It has been brought to the notice of the court as well, the highest court in this country. I'll just read out some of these earlier cases involving in 2001. There was an unnatural growth, such as, you have 168.78, 143 decadal increase. It is unthinkable. This kind of things have been brought out, and strange it seems when the court asked to recount, at least among this 9 of them is there, and 3 were asked to recount when people were gone there, the population refused. Why? This has been going on, and independent scholars have said, non-Manipuris, independent scholars working in universities in Bangalore and IIT have done studies, non-Manipuri scholars, and they said this abnormal growth in population in 2001 or 2011 census in Manipur cannot be explained through normal demographic factors. This is a statement made by independent scholars. I can give you can refer to some of these studies conducted by, one is by Ankush Agarwal and Vikas Kumar, one is from Aji Premji University, and one is from IIT, and they have published these articles in, say, Economic and Political Weekly, and they have analyzed this, and they have concluded that conventional demographic factors cannot explain the abnormal population growth rates in this part of Manipur. And they conclude that these abnormalities in the head count are instead associated with the competition for seats in the state assembly. They are trying to inflate these numbers so that in the delimitation process they get more seats. And this has been an unresolved issue. So we have these unresolved issues. This is one of the facts that I have mentioned in my letter to the Home Minister in March, that until and unless you resolve these unresolved issues of censures, judiciously address these things concerns, you should not also go ahead with this census data. The people are inflating this data, and uski upar you have these law and order situations where you can't have an accurate, proper census process. And the third concern is, increasingly over the years, we have a concern of illegal immigrants in Manipur. And I can give you some examples, over the years, if you compare the unsettling situation in Burma, now Myanmar, and if you track, for example, the Chin state in Burma, neighboring us, and the population growth of Manipur, you will say that increase in population is far more higher in Manipur than neighboring Chin state in Burma. In fact, the last report suggested that there was a drastic decline in Chin state's population. How is it possible? You know, which used to stand around, say, earlier they had something like 4.79 lakhs. In the latest, it is 3.73. It has reduced. If you check it from 1973 record, 2000, if you check 2014, and now you have 2024, there is a reduction in the population in Chin state. And Ulta in Manipur, there is a drastic increase in the population. So the influx of illegal immigrants in the state has been a concern. That's why people have been demanding that we should have a judicious process of distinguishing these illegal immigrants and foreigners before we do a head count. So, all these factors. So, if I have to repeat again, there are 3-4 factors that I have shared with you. One is the prevailing law and order situations, where villages have been wiped out, 10,000 houses have been destroyed, and people are still languishing in thousands in relief camp, and you are trying to do a house listing exercise. This is completely irrational. And there are people who cannot go, there's no free movement from one area to the other. The state is dividing it. And how do you expect in this ongoing, bloodshed and violence that continues still today, how is it possible for you to do a census process in this kind of a law order situation? The other is, as I said, there are unresolved issues of census. There is unnatural growth of 168% decadal growth. This is unheard of in this country. And that has been an issue. And then you have the reasons for illegal immigrants, and you can see that this has been a concern. In fact, this illegal immigrants, there was an incident in 2023. They have found out that their government has tried to monitor and this biometrics of this influx, and they discovered that they were settling among the villagers, and they were asked to shift to a designated camp. They refused. There was a violence. So the fear of this influx intermingling and absorbing in the local population has been a concern. It is documented fact. And in fact, one article in the Where had also reported how these illegal immigrants are being absorbed into the local populations. In a report in the Where, mentioned thus, I'll just read out that portion. This is published in the Where, and it says, some people admitting that, of course, there are people from Burma in Churachandpur. It is an open border. They are our own brothers and sisters. We close doors on them just because far away a surveyor, Englishman RK, met an imaginary line without consulting us, thereby meaning they don't even accept this international border. जो बर्मा जो आए हुए हैं हमारे ही kinship group है, why shouldn't we allow them to stay? So this fear of absorbing illegal immigrants in the local population and this unnatural growth of decadal growth rate of 170, 190 is unthinkable. This is not about Manipuris. I have quoted from independent scholars from outside the state who has done this. So these concerns of law and order and IDPs and then this illegal immigrants, that's why people said let's do something like a judicious process, NRC, and then foreigner tribunals. Let's distinguish these illegal immigrants and foreigners first and restore the law and order, making sure that these IDPs go back to their own homes. We have postponed and deferred census in many other instances in Kashmir, in Assam, during COVID. So what's so wrong in asking for us to, the government to defer? So this is, unfortunately, they don't listen. They just started. And then people are protesting in an unnecessarily, this violence, you are inviting, and there's a disruption in day-to-day life again because of this reckless and insensitive behavior of the government of India. On the other hand, they are playing with, provoking people on NRC, without even properly preparing them. All these times they have not prepared the basic documents to do that. The required amendments, they haven't done anything. They just camouflage and misled the people by saying that, oh, we have written letters, we have done this. And now recently the people have discovered that unlike Assam, where the basic documents were prepared by the state, and the parameters and the reasoning and the rationale for this, and what would be our legacy, that everything was prepared by the Assam government before they go ahead with that. In Manipur, this BJP government did not even prepare that. Despite they have been talking about NRC, and they will not even bother. And they make it sure that these questions are not asked against them for all these 6-7 years by distracting people. And so they haven't done the substantive work on this. So it's unfortunate. So our party had done a press conference yesterday with our PCC and former Chief Minister Sri Ibobi. Party leaders had held a press conference yesterday in Imphal. We are supposed to do this yesterday itself here in Delhi, but we had a CWC meeting, and that's why we are holding this press conference. And the letter that I have again written to the Home Minister day before yesterday. Yesterday I have written the letter to him again, asking for immediate stopping of this census process and deferment. And if you do not do this delimitation exercise, if you do it without proper counting, you are setting up for deepening of the crisis and conflict in the state. Because the kind of anomalies that will come up will have a far-reaching implication for the state. So it will be very unsettling for the state. So I request the government of India to immediately stop the census process and ensure that the IDPs were made to return to their homes, and law and order is established. These armed groups who are loitering around and destructions and killing still going on, that must be stopped so that proper census can be conducted. And the unresolved issues of the earlier census must be looked into it afresh with genuine and a process, judicious process. NRC and other foreigners tribunals must be instituted in order to delineate who is a citizen and who is not in the state of Manipur. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll take it. Can you repeat that question again?
You just mentioned illegal immigration issue in Manipur. Mm-hmm. Then who is responsible for the illegal immigration issue in Manipur? Previous government or current government?
Is it last one? You said
illegal immigration.
That issue. I have heard, but the last sentence.
Who is responsible for it?
And
previous government or current government?
It's not about previous government or the current government. The fact is that you need to know, since independence, unfortunately for us, Pakistan was is not very stable. So is Myanmar, Burma. So, and we're not proper, traditionally in South Asia, we don't have that firm European model of firm border. So it's in a porous border, so people used to come. So even for the Western sector, it took time till 1965. So that's the one factor. So instead of turning to the government, my answer would be that this has been going on because of this. The government has not taken appropriate measures at one level. Cutting across party line has been going on. And the second one is, as far as real intention, that was I was saying towards the end. BJP government has been shouting NRC since 2023. They have not done their homework. Even the legacy data of the NRC 1951 documents or the 1948 electoral list, we are not sure whether they have it. They have not prepared what are the criteria or consultative process. They don't do it now. They are running to Delhi. Yesterday I've heard that some of their MLAs have gone to Delhi. Now why? Why didn't they write? They, on the other hand, they have issued and government officers have been trained now for the census process. So there is a dishonesty in that. But I must also tell you, in terms of the government's performance, this is the government of India's record. In 2004 to 2014, UPA government 1 and 2, more than 82,000 illegal immigrants were deported back to their countries, including around about 26 from Bangladesh during the UPA government from 2004 to 2014. And from 2014 to 2024, during this NDA government, it is less than 5,000 illegal immigrants. कहता रहता है, NRC करूँगा, illegal ये करूँगा, but हकीकत में वो किया ही नहीं उसने. The number speaks for itself. Less than 5,000 illegal immigrants were deported during the NDA government from 2014 to 2024. It is government of Home Ministry का खुद का डाटा है. तो कांग्रेस के टाइम में, यूपीए की गवर्नमेंट के टाइम में 2004 से 14 तक के बीच में 80 से ज़्यादा illegal immigrants were deported by the government. So in fact, you should do this government. So I think the time is not to talk about this thing. I think the government of Manipur must be honest enough, just as Assam government has done it. They should prepare all the required documents right now. They have been talking since 7 years. Many of these papers are not in the public still. They have not amended the required amendment to be done in Citizenship Act 1955. Do you know that how they have been amending X after X even without discussing in the House? Because they have this majority. If they wanted to do an amendment to insert a required cut-off year for Manipur and process, like the way they have done for Assam, in Citizenship Act 1955, they have inserted 6 and 6A. Similarly, they should have done for Manipur. And similarly, Citizenship Rule 2003, where they have a 4A, similar things should have been inserted for Manipur. They should have also prepared and then find it out where the legacy data are, whether it is 1948 electoral list or 1951 NRC. There are controversies around this. We have no data. And the reasons, deadlines with the Assam government has prepared white paper on these issues before they approach the court. We don't have anything of that kind. But मुंह में कहता रहता है NRC करूँगा, illegal immigrants करूँगा, काम तो किया ही नहीं उसने. I think that's the fundamental issues that we face. But all said and done, our insistence is that the census must immediately stop until the time we address all these concerns that I have raised in front of you. This is the demand from the people of the state, cutting across community, cutting across party lines, and I think this should be clear by the government of India. This is not a partisan, agenda. This is a non-partisan agenda for the state of Manipur, that we must delineate citizens and illegal immigrants. That process must start, and then ensure that this law and order is restored and these IDPs are returned, allowed to return homes. Only then you do it. Delimitation exercise, all of them must be, deferred for the time being. Till these issues have been addressed by the government of the state. That's our position. Anything else? Thank you so much.